Hello and welcome to Guangzhou. It's the second day here in Group C in the FIBA Basketball World Cup. It's Tunisia versus Iran. It may only be day two for these two teams, but it's a massive game. It's a must-win game. Both of them know that defeat will make it a difficult trip to the next round if they are going to get through to the next round, which both sides have set their sights on coming into this competition. They've got to find a way to win here. Daniel Routledge and Coach Joe Rasso bringing you the call here. And Joe, a massive game for these two teams, everything on the line here today.
Yeah, this is a game that both teams have been eyeing once the schedule came out. They both feel very confident and comfortable that they can beat the other team. Mirror images of each other. Two big men in the middle, veterans that they play through, two solid captains and forwards up front, good backcourts where they can get some shooting from. This is going to be a great game, and you said the outcome is so important.
Well, particularly for Iran. A defeat for Iran doesn't technically put them out, but the only way they could qualify is if Spain lose twice. And that seems fairly unlikely. So Iran really must win to have any chance of going through. If they don't win, then Tunisia will face a straight shootout with Puerto Rico, assuming something weird doesn't happen with Spain, for that second spot. So Tunisia still have another go at it, if you like, with that Puerto Rico game. But if they were to lose, then they need to get into three-way ties, and all the points difference, you don't want to take that gamble. Tunisia will be coming in here going, beat Iran, beat PR, and we are through.
Yeah, Coach Palmer said it yesterday in his press conference. The team that you saw in the second half isn't Tunisia. The team you saw in the first half is. And he was building his team up yesterday after a real tough loss. Both teams had tough losses. One more emotional, Iran, and the other one with Tunisia, it was just the cannon fodder of Spain that got to them. But these two teams have recovered, and now they're looking forward. But they have been looking for this game, and like I said, it's going to be a great one with two great big men in the middle who dominate both teams.
Well, this is the schedule in Group C today. Tunisia, Iran taking place in about 7 minutes' time. It's just coming up to 4:30 local here in Guangzhou. And then in 4 hours from now, Puerto Rico against Spain. And Spain looked mightily impressive, particularly in the second half of that game that they played 2 days ago. And here's the table. You can see Puerto Rico and Spain off to winning starts, and they are top of the table. And we will now all rise in the Guangzhou gymnasium for the national anthems of our two participating sides. First up is the national anthem of Iran. And now for the national anthem of Tunisia. Well, just 4 minutes now from the start of this ball game, and the two teams will, as is customary, meet at half court and shake hands, exchange mementos, and then they'll go back to their final layup lines before going into the huddles, and the two coaches with a long conversation for each other at the half court. Nice to see. And this is the third team on the court. The referees from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Mr. Zerpovic, Mr. Domingos Viveros of Mexico, and Mr. Konjuli of Cameroon. Our commissioner is Mr. Papadopoulos of Greece. And well, 3.5 minutes to go in what promises to be a very intriguing ball game. I think most people came to Guangzhou and thought, well, Spain looked the class act of that group, and then it's really going to be decided by how the other teams play each other, and this is certainly now cranked up the pressure from day one when Iran and Puerto Rico met in a thriller, and this is the Iranian team that starts for them today. And how do you think mentally they will have reacted to that defeat?
I think that's coaching. That's experienced coaching that will take it. I think they're a veteran team, and I think they'll come back and they'll play real strong. This is their main guy. You know, Barami has been their captain. He's their leader. He's their focal point. He's their glue. And if you talk to the players, you talk to the coaching staff, he's the guy that gets them going. So in this case, he's got to be their leader on the floor. Yes, they got Majeri, but he has to be the guy on the floor that has to play a lot of minutes and solid minutes, and he'll score every which way he can for us.
Well, that's certainly going to be one key guy to watch out for at that end of the floor. And really, it's going to take the performances of all of them. We look at this Tunisia starting five, and obviously, as you've already touched on, they'll think about the first half rather than the second half that they played in that other game, and that will be the key for them. Come out and do two halves like that. Yeah,
and they've got a lot of players, but Ben Romdam is such, he's the exact same opposite of what we just talked about. He's the glue guy, he's the captain. It hurt them yesterday when he got into foul trouble, which was a big key. But he can score a bunch of different ways. And he's a big man with a real good touch, good passer, and he'll do whatever it takes for this team to get to the next step.
Well, this is actually the second meeting between these two sides in World Cup play. The other one was in Istanbul in 2010. I happened to be calling that game on that occasion, and Iran came out on top 71-51. Only one Iranian who was playing then still in the lineup, and that's him, the big man, Haddadi, who had 23 points and 13 rebounds. Hassan Zaida was on the bench but didn't see any action. But interestingly, there is 6 guys from the Tunisian team who were on that roster 9 years ago. They probably won't remember it at all, but Tunisia looking for their first ever World Cup win. They went 0-5 in that competition. They've obviously lost their first game here today. Want to do something and get that first ever FIBA Basketball World Cup victory on the board.
And they've got the right coach to get them there. Coach Palma's coach at Angola, Jordan, and now Tunisia. He's a veteran guy, and we heard him yesterday. He came off that loss yesterday thinking about today.
And he was very adamant that that number one, Spain was, you know, a different team, and they weren't coming here to beat Spain, if you like. They were going to give it their best shot, but they weren't expecting that to be. But these other two games were the ones to focus on. And basically, that second half, he was disappointed with it, the way his team sort of fell away, but proud of what they did in the first half, and expects them today to come out and put together two halves like they did against Spain, rather than what we saw in them melting away really in that second half.
And they've had big wins this summer. They've beaten Poland, Jordan, Latvia. Those are big wins for this squad. And he'll talk about the positives. He'll get back to the long-term plan. Here's what we were wanting to do. This was the game that we were focusing on from the beginning of our training camp.
Well, here we go then. Two teams out on court, shaking hands and getting us ready to go. At 4:30 local time. Good afternoon from here, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Joining us for this FIBA Basketball World Cup in China. And we're about to get underway. And the battle of the two big men. First blow to Mejri, although Haddadi says he got it on the way up. It's tough for the referees to throw it up high enough to get it for those two guys. And Elmer Brook fires up a three, and Nicole Rami with the first rebound.
It'll be very important for Tunisia for El Mabrouk to get on track early. Good shooter, maybe their best shooter on this team. And they're going to look to get him on track when they can.
Haddadi backing down. Haddadi all the way to the hole and lays it in. He's a popular figure in these parts. He's, of course, played in the CBA in China and obviously battled against the Chinese national team on many occasions in the Asian competitions. And here he is cleaning up the rebound.
Iran last time went to him, Haddadi, early because of his size. He can still dominate the middle.
Trying to get another rebound. Haddadi has actually got 20 and 15 in his last 3 FIBA World Cup games. Nobody else has done that since 1994.
This is going to be the battle of the big men. They're very different. Salah Mejri is going to run the floor better. He's going to put a lot more finesse. He stands 221, 7'3". And Haddadi is going to be able to go inside and use his size and girth just to work his way to the basket. So they may need help, Tunisia, in guarding Haddadi, where at the same time, Iran feels that they can go straight up with Mejri.
Mejri is a survivor of that 2010 World Cup matchup against Iran. He played 36 minutes for 10 points, 9 rebounds. Although he was a much younger man then, yet to really break through, but he certainly has since then. Here's Haddadi and Mejri going toe-to-toe. Good pass. And you talked about it 2 days ago when Iran played. Because he's such a focal point, you almost overlook what a great passer he is. And
Iran knows that they're going to double him, and nice ball cut there by Iran for the easy basket.
3-point for the Tunisian captain, Ben Ronda. Here's Haddadi. Barami driving in, dumps it off to Haddadi. Nice little two-man game between the two vets.
Yeah, all 3 baskets have come right at the rim for Iran.
Beda, Ben Ronda gets it onto Roll, off at the high screen, takes it. And Mabrouk in the corner. Oh, they all backed away from the ball. Only the ball can score, and he lays it in.
The Tunisian guards need to score because Haddadi's going to zone that middle and
nice
drop
pass.
back.
Beautiful pass from Haddadi again. Cutting to the basket was Charlie. Roll. Ben Rondon driving in, Haddadi shutting the door.
He is their anchor of defense. He is the last stage you have to get through if you're going to score.
Nicole Barami trying to drop that off to Hassan Zeta, but unable to do so. Beda's 3 doesn't go. And again, you're trying to get it to Hassan Zeta, and this time the pass deflected. Brook open for 3, short. Haddadi is almost there for the rebound, but it drops to Mejri. He's desperate for a foul, looking at all 3 officials, but none of them providing what he wanted, and that's an out of bounds. Another turnover here. A little sloppy with the ball early on here. And I think Mejri has just got a warning from the official about complaining.
Yeah, I would have liked seeing Mejri go to the basket to score. You know, he went there again, not to get fouled. He switches hands. He's got to attack the big man.
You see just a mental breakdown, not realizing where he was on the court there. Missing Zeta. Roll. Gets the shot off back iron, but it bounces back out to Elmer Brook. Beda for 3, got hit by Jamshidi, And he will go to the line for 3.
Yeah, lucky for Tunisia, they're down to 4 seconds on the shot clock. Not a great offensive set, not moving the ball real well. And they bailed out on a foul here.
It's one of the worst fouls as well, because the ball has long since left his hand, so you can't impact on the ball. I mean, coaches don't like you fouling a 3-point shooter anyway, but fouling him where you can't affect the actual trajectory of the shot is even worse.
Majeri talking to Coach Palma here. He wants to get in the action a little bit more. He's saying he's feeling that he hasn't had enough touches. And with him touching the ball, it's not about him touching the ball to score. It's about him facilitating the offense, playing through him more on the offensive end.
Omar Abeda from the line makes it a 2-point Tunisian lead. Barami. Back to Haddadi. Haddadi late in the shot clock, fires up. And he has got a nice touch, even for a man of his size.
And he's very good late in the shot clock, as proved yesterday.
And, well, not much defense at the other end. A quick, easy reply for Tunisia. Haddadi, Jamshidi. At the elbow, good stroke, ties the game up at 12.
Good execution. Both teams here have done a real good job of stopping each other's transition, and it's become a half-court battle here.
Roll, diving in, dumps it off to Mejri, spins around. Just batted away by Haddadi.
But again, there you saw it was more of a finesse attack than it was a strong attack to the basket. And you've got to attack Haddadi inside strong. You've got to get to his body.
Mejri fires up the 3 and strokes that. Tunisia back in front.
An important 3-point shot by the big guy, because now Haddadi has to respect it, and now you can open up the inside a little bit.
Barami hands it off. Jamshidi down the lane looking for some options. Charlie from behind the arc.
Good offense there, drawing the team to the middle. Penetration, reaction, finding the best shooter in the gym yesterday, maybe today.
2 days ago, of course it was, rather than yesterday. We had the day off here in Guangzhou. Mejri hits another one. Knocked away. And Abeda, is that unsportsmanlike? Yes, it is.
Iran's done a good job of getting back in transition. The only transition Tunisia's had is on turnovers. So it's misses and turnovers that you have to be worried about, but the turnovers are the most difficult ones to deal with.
And again, that's one of them you just can't do anymore. You're better off giving up the layup than you are reaching in and committing a foul like that.
I've got to say, when we talk about rules and adjustments, to me, that's one of my favorite rules. I think it's helped the game tremendously. It's stopped people from fouling at that center court area. Great rule, and now people are learning how to handle it.
I suppose the more experienced players maybe take a little longer to get used to that, because they would have grown up being told, foul him, stop the break. But it has been a number of years now since you were allowed that just be a regular foul.
What used to be a good foul now is a bad foul.
Because they've already got the 2 points, and now they've got a possession to try and add to that. Beda. Benrondan putting it on the floor. Just a little... well, the Tunisians are having a little word, and the referees have a slight disagreement here. One referee pointed up court, the other one down court.
Well, both teams are trying to sell the call.
Well, in the end, after a conversation, they are going to give it to Tunisia. But there's only 1.6 on the shot clock. Ben Rondon fires up and hits a 3 on the buzzer, and that it's a 5-point unsportsmanlike foul that has given Tunisia an 8-point lead.
And Iran didn't even realize that Tunisia was going to get the ball, and they weren't even real set on that stance there. On the
Oh, great block from Mejri. Ben Rondon on the trail, drives hard, gets fouled, and he will go to the line. Just look over at the bench. You just wonder with 3:39 to go whether Iran might call a timeout, but it is in fact a substitution. Coach Shahintab not yet calling. Here's another look at that block, pinned it to the glass again.
And the difference in those two takes, Ben Rondon went hard to the basket. Nobody was going to stop him. And then you come back with if you're a small man against a big guy with a little finesse move, it's not going to happen. Ben Rondon is so important, so critical, and he gets to the free throw line a lot, but he's a less than 50% free throw shooter. And it's hard to have a very good player like that late in the game. He's so important, but if he's not going to knock down the free throws, it's very difficult at the end of the game.
He goes 50% on that occasion. Tunisia's lead is out to 9. And Iran had looked pretty comfortable offensively early on, but not so much lately. But Haddadi trying to end that streak. Great work on the glass. And the foul is eventually called.
You got to love the way Mashayeke went after that loose ball. Mejri had it, he reached in, he grabbed it, and he fought for it. That was a good case of David and Goliath. David won that little battle.
Yeah, he did. Haddadi and Nika Barami in the lane for this inbound possession. Barami Paul gets it. He's open now. Rotation comes. Ends up with the hook, and it gets a nice little bounce.
Big lineup on the court here for Iran. Garamipour was very good 2 days ago. And starts where he left off.
Roll with the mid-range jump shot off the back of the iron. It comes all the way out to Haddadi. Throws it down court, but Ben Rondon is able to pick it off. Numbers here. And Ben Rondon lays it in. And there is now a timeout coming the way of Tunisia. They've just, first, 4 or 5 minutes they looked okay, but they're just a bit sloppy. Too many turnovers. That pass not really on the money. And they've turned those turnovers into points the other way.
Yeah, with Iran, it has to be a matter of playing good half-court offense, and they are. They're successful. They're very good in the half-court. But it's the turnovers. It's the sloppy plays. It's people not looking for the ball. Lazy passes, and it's the transition that Tunisia has been scoring off of Iran mistakes, and that's what's going to be talked about at this timeout. We can't allow them to score off our mistakes.
Sometimes ask him to push or something. Control him.
Yeah, 6 points already off turnovers. Although I don't think they count the three-pointer that they got off an unsportsmanlike as a direct points off turnovers. So actually, it's at least 9 if you think about it.
And those 2 big threes by Mejri are very important because now Haddadi, who wants to anchor the middle and stay at the rim, now has to decide. And the worst place for him to be is halfway to nowhere.
Yeah. Eight points, 3 rebounds already for the big number 50. Iran will come back with possession of the ball. Mashayeki bringing it cross court. Yeah, Charlie under pressure. It was aimed. Oh, good pass. What a super pass that is from Garamipour.
Great pass. But what has to go noticed here is when you can put Yakachali at the 2 spot, then he's a receiver. When he was playing at the point guard, it was a little difficult for him to pass to himself.
Oh, another one from Salah Mashiri, his 3rd triple of the game. Haddadi, little step back, one shows his own range, but that one doesn't drop. Didn't hit the ring, he's got to shoot here. Thrown up, and Tunisia come away with it.
Rough offense for Iran on that last series.
And that's now what he's got. Is he can pull Haddadi out with a head fake and go past him. Although that occasion the ball batted away.
But it changed completely what Iran does on defense. It's usually 4 guys and Haddadi back there. But if you've got Haddadi now part of it, now your rotation changes. Who's going to protect the rim? It makes it so much easier to attack Iran when you can shoot the ball from the 5 spot.
Well, he's going to shoot it again from the 5 spot, not this time.
Maybe a little ambitious.
Yeah. He's a couple of feet further back on that occasion. Offensive foul, the call, hit him in the chest, and down he goes.
And Haddadi's saying, I think that was a little embellished.
Here's another look. Well, you can't argue it's a foul.
Big man didn't feel it at all.
Haddadi getting a little break. Garami is now. Oh, good hands, but he does keep it in bounds, Rostampor. And Iran get it back. Great hustle. Rostampor down low to Ramipur. Spins one way, then the other to the fall away. Tough shot off the mark. Ben Ramdan with the rebound.
That was a great, important series for Iran because they created the turnover. They would have liked to have been rewarded for it. Shot clock down into low numbers here. It's got to go up. He's not got the shot off in time. It's a 24-second violation. Sometimes you want to build your momentum on the defensive end. Anytime you get a 24-second shot clock violation, you always feel a little bit better. The bench is up. Everybody's into it. Important to finish the quarter now.
30 seconds to go. Tunisia leading by 10. Charlie again late in the shot clock. Finds a bit of space for the 3. Front rims that. They just look like they haven't got the shots that they want in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Now, early in the game, they just attacked inside. Then they started, feeding off of that. They've got to be an inside-out team.
8.5 seconds for Tunisia to get one more score if they can. Roll. Pass is deflected away and time expires. On a very good first quarter for Tunisia. It was pretty 50-50 for the first 5 minutes of that period. But then Tunisia, through that man, turned up the heat. And at the end of one, it's Tunisia 29, Iran 19. Well, we'll take a look at the numbers here. And one thing that isn't on there is the turnovers. And whilst it's relatively tight in terms of the number, the problem is that Tunisia have turned their good turnovers into points going the other way, and Iran haven't.
So it's points off of turnovers.
Yeah.
That's the big stat that we're looking at here. And they've run them into transition points.
Right, 6-2 on the points of turnovers, but as I say, on top of that will be the 3-point shot that came from a turnover and an unsportsmanlike foul. And the other thing about it is it's just been a little easier for Tunisia at the offensive end than it has been for Iran.
And the body language. Majeri on the first 4 possessions is looking like he wants the ball, and then all of a sudden he knocks down a few shots. His body language changed completely. His game changed. Knocks down the 3, then he trolled him outside, and then he drives by him and looks to get to the basket. Good first quarter for Tunisia.
Certainly gets a thumbs up. That man has 11 of his team's 29. Ben Rondam there has 9 of them, so 20 points for those two. Don't forget you can keep up to date via the official FIBA Basketball World Cup app. Highlights, stats, news, interviews, everything you could want. Download it for free and keep on top of the action. We're underway here in the second quarter. Iran with possession, looking to eat into this 10-point deficit. Ramipur there to clean that one up. I think it was a shot rather than a pass.
And well, what happens there is Majeri looks, when the secondary player looks for the block shot and doesn't get it, then it becomes an easy offensive rebound for his man.
Roll. Ben Rondam for 3. Back iron might come to roll. He just about saves it. He does, in fact, to Niwa. Roll trying to keep that one in bounds. And actually, he's going to get a foul for a push.
Michael Roll is very important for this team. He's a very good scorer. He's made some big shots for him. And he's got that outside intermediate game.
Rostampur just giving him a little nudge to try and force the turnover. Referee wise to it. Make sure he lobs it in. Ben Rondam, the help comes, but not quite quick enough.
Nice counter to a set. They took away Roll on the sprint out there on the stagger, and good read and react offense by Tunisia.
Battle in the paint. Rostampur and Shanufi. Ramipur with the mid-range doesn't go. With the rebound. Roll. Shanufi. Trying to thread the needle, pass is deflected out of bounds. That is going to come back into the game.
Sometimes your interior pass, you got to be careful it's not too tight. When teams drop down like that, you've got to go to the outside to the 3 on that. And with Shanufi on the court, real good shooter, they got to be searching out for him too.
Roll. Late in the clock again. Ben Rondam passes it off. Majri just gets that off in time, but somehow it doesn't go down, and he comes up limping a little bit. And quickly in transition, Mashieki.
One of the rare early scores for Iran today.
Majri giving another 3, and they're going to have to get out to him because that is his 4th three-pointer of the game.
Yeah, the scouting report now has changed.
It's gone from can hit the 3 to will hit the 3. Here's the daddy trying to go to work on him. Gets it back. Didn't hit the ring, but once again, Ramipur on hand to tidy that up.
And Iran was fortunate on that, but they got back to what they do. Put the ball inside.
And then he just rips that away. Foul called on the floor, so it'll be an end-line ball for Iran.
Yeah, it's important for Iran to get Yakchali going again. And like I said, with him playing on the off-guard position, they're going to have to run some stuff for him or get it inside out to him. He's been a great shooter. He's made his only 3 today. He made 6 of 8 yesterday. You've got to get him open.
Rostanpour diving to the basket, but Charlie couldn't find him. Mashiaki in the mid-range. Just chipping away at this lead.
Yeah, Mashiaki got very comfortable against Giniwa twice now. He's taken him to the middle, felt he can get by him.
Measuring. Let's fly from behind the arc. And Rondam back out to roll. And he hits the 3. And that is Tunisia's 7th 3 in 12 attempts.
Long rebounds, long threes, fortunate.
Haddadi getting it into Rostanpour, who had the good position. I assume it's Shanufi who scored for the foul. It is.
Iran has 3 big forwards on the floor, and you know what, what their game plan is. They've got 1 shooter and 3 large forwards out there. They're going to jam the thing inside, screen for each other.
Hussein Zada into the game for the first time.
Both coaches try and take advantage when the big man substitutes.
Two shots on that foul. Tunisian side not convinced that it was a 2-shot foul. Certainly Roll prolonging the discussion.
One that he'll lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Unsung hero for Tunisia yesterday was Hadidan. Played great for them in a game where they've got blown out in the second half, but came off the bench and had a real good performance for them.
And here he is getting his hands on the ball for the first time. Roll. Hadidan cutting to the basket. That's a goaltend. It's batted away by Garamipour, but not after, not before it hit the backboard. Once it's hit the backboard, you have to let it come off the ring. And if you watch here, it's backboard, tip away. That's a goaltend.
That was caused by ball movement and a dive off the ball movement.
Rostanpour from behind the arc. Another good rebound from the guard position. Mashiaki for 3, and he'll go to the line for the bonus.
That's twice now he's come in from the perimeter as the smallest player on the court. Once he fought for a rebound and ripped it, and there he gets it, now the 3.
See, defense a little late to get there, and again, running underneath him, giving him nowhere to land. It's another one of those fouls that has no impact on the shot whatsoever, just gives him an opportunity to make a 4-point play. And they need a little something to spot the fire, and well, 4-point plays can certainly do that for a team. Although he can't convert it, he gets his own rebound. Maybe turn it into a 5 or a 6-point play. Here's Haddadi. Just keeps that alive. Nicole Barami has to shoot here. Needs to get it off. And he can't. And it'll be either out of bounds or a shot clock violation. Doesn't matter either way.
Tunisia very fortunate because that was a big possession there for Iran. But again, in that case, like in the other cases, just guys are thinking somebody else is going to get the rebound. You've got to get a rebound. You can't think anyone's going to get it. Compete with your own teammates if you have to.
A bit of full court pressure from the Iranians. Broken by 1 pass. Beda. Well, there's a bit of a bumping and banging between Slimon and Nikhil Barami, Ben Rondon. Roll wants it down in the low block. Abeda tripping over, and the foul is scored.
Good piece of coaching by Tunisia there of playing through the match that you have. And with Roll in the post and Ben Rondon being able to shoot the ball on the outside, good situation because one's going to be open, then they play off of each other.
Mshidi back into the action. Ben Rondon to Roll. Shot clock down to 2. And Rondon didn't have time for the pass. I'm not even sure he had time for the layup. He wasn't given much there. And again, that's one of them where from the out of bounds, they didn't recognize how long they had.
Yeah, and that's a communication turnover. That should be coming from the bench, from guys on the floor, just reminding each other.
Haddadi. He's waiting for everybody to get out of his way. Slimon coming with the help, and he's called for the foul.
He's called for the foul, but technically a great double team by Slimon. He came when Haddadi didn't see him coming. He trapped Haddadi's legs because you can't, and then just reached in with that left hand.
Yeah. It was great defense right up until there, where he goes down. If he keeps his hand straight up, Haddadi's not making that shot, you've got a chance of a defensive rebound.
But I like the idea. Couple dribbles, don't come real fast, don't let him see you coming, and if you are going to attack him with a double team, come from the blind side. What that does, it will allow them now to use the bluff as much as the double team to maybe get him to pick up his dribble.
Well, another offensive rebound. Rostampor with it this time. Haddadi's quite deep there, but it's good play by Ben Rondon to knock it away. Hands it off to Roll. Ben Rondon for 3. Bouncing ball is eventually knocked out of bounds by Mashiyehi, and it will be a sideline ball.
I love the fact that Ben Rondon can do absolutely everything. He handles the ball a little bit, he can post you up, he's a good passer, very solid defender, can guard four positions on the floor.
Measure back into the game for Tunisia. Roll running the baseline out to the wing, gets it back. Again, late in the shot clock, Tunisia. Tough shot, good offensive rebound from the captain. Beta will reset. Goes the opposite way to the screen. Cross court, Slimon open for 3. Haddadi with the rebound. Jamshidi pushing hard, going all the way to the hole. No way through.
Yeah, it's a 1-on-3 fast break there. Unless you get to the rim with it, it's not a good decision.
He thought about another one, but turned it down. Abeda, he steps back. He is going to take it this time. Front rim on that, but well chased down by Abeda. The guards are doing well on the glass today.
The point guards are doing a great job of getting the long rebounds.
That's going to be a foul on Rostampor. That's a little bit unlucky on him because he's diving for a loose ball. If he gets the ball, throws it back to a teammate, it's great hustle. If he misses the ball, it's a foul.
Yeah, he's bringing energy on the floor. He wants to show his players that he can give them something extra.
But unfortunately for him, that's his 3rd personal foul.
When you're coming off the bench, you're not as concerned.
Roll, steps back, tough shot, nice shot.
Impressed, he can probe. He's the one guy in this team that can probe and create his own shot, and he will settle for that elbow jump shot if you give it to him.
Nikhil Barami knocks in the 3.
That was needed. That was needed for him. That was needed for Iran. They got him on the board now.
Yeah, his first points of the game. He's played over 10 minutes. Slimani again, court awareness, out of bounds. He looked a long way out of bounds. There was one in the first quarter at the other end. I think it was Hassan Zaid who was miles out of court.
When you catch the ball, and Sleeman took a 3 the last time, every time you catch the ball, you got to be ready to shoot it. And the fact that you're stepping out of bounds meant that you weren't ready to catch to shoot the basketball. He's got to be in a ready position so that he can pass it or drive off of it. Those are tough turnovers to take.
Elmer Brook.
Iran's done a good job of quietly getting back into this game.
Yeah, I think if they get to the halfway stage. Oh, Mejri with another big block.
I love the fact that his blocks he comes chasing the ball.
Beta for 3, yes! Big swing there for Tunisia. Could have been 2 at one end, turns into 3 at the other.
Started on defense. You think you get by Mejri, and all of a sudden he comes from behind you and catches up and makes those blocks.
Good hands from Abeda to knock it loose, and the foul is going to be called on Zagini.
And who's in the middle of it?
Here's another look. Again, as you say, you think you've got it past, you throw it up there, but as well as being tall, he's very long.
And he comes down from the heavens.
Yeah.
The long arm of the law.
The long arm of Salah. Beta to roll. That's a tough pass, cross court.
And Iran changed it up there with a little bit of a 2-3 zone and got a turnover off it. Good change of defense.
Well, 84 seconds left in this first half, or first half that Tunisia have certainly been the better side. They lead by 9. And this is one of those. If Iran can win these last 30 seconds and get to the locker room down 4 or 5, they'll feel okay. But likewise, if Tunisia can do the opposite and go up double figures, they'll be loving life. Michael Barami throws it all the way out of the reach of Yakhchali, and Tunisia get the ball back.
Yeah, 2 bad turnovers on each team on their last possessions.
Well, the pass actually was so far awry, it went into the front court, so they do only get 14 seconds here on the offense. Sometimes when you're not expecting it, that clock can run down and you don't realize it. And that's exactly what's happened here, and they get a 14-second violation. It's one of those, when you know the ball's coming in the front court, say after an unsportsmanlike or something like that, or a defensive foul, you're sort of used to it. But on a turnover like that, when you feel like you're bringing the ball down the court, you're expecting 24 seconds, and of course it isn't.
Yeah, but that's a communication factor. And when I'm saying communication, I'm talking about the call is echoed. 14 seconds on the shot clock. It's just a quick reminder for everybody, and everybody echoes that call to the next person. Then you have a better possession right off the bat. Those are things that you can do. Those are things that are trained with. Teams expect players to do it, and it's a sense of confidence. You always notice there's always a leader on the court that talks about time and score situations. There's always that guy on the team that's always reminding everybody else what the time and score situation is. And I felt that's 2 sidelines out of bounds where Tunisia wasn't prepared for what the clock had.
Well, they have been prepared to shoot the 3 here in the first half. 8 of 16 from 3-point range. Ben Rondam has a couple of those. He's got 11 points. Kaplan leading by example as the 2 teams make their way back out onto court. 9-point Tunisian lead. There's maybe 3 offenses left in this one, certainly 2.
You go into the last minute and both teams have an after timeout play here.
Charlie onto Nick Al-Barami. Haddadi wants it, and Mejri knocks it away. Iran have it with 8 on the shot clock.
You don't want to be able to put a direct pass in Haddadi here. This is where Mike Roll will probably come off a little bit off the basketball.
Well, he didn't, and it does go straight into Haddadi, but the pass had a little bit too much sauce on it for Garami Porter to haul in, and there's about a 3+ second differential between shot and game. 3.5 maybe at a guess. Beda to Roll. Mejri open again for 3. Well, that was a long way short. Haddadi has it, 4 seconds to go. Jamshidi will fire up on the buzzer, and it runs out, and that kind of been Iran's half there in terms of their shooting. A little in and out.
And the happiest guy in the court is Mejri, because he took a shot 4 seconds too early and gave Iran an opportunity to have a big clock ender at the end of the half.
We're at the break here in Guangzhou, and it's Tunisia 44, Iran 35. Here's the shooting numbers, and Iran shooting percentages are higher, and the turnovers are only 1 higher, but again, they've just profited better, Tunisia, from those turnovers.
Well, Coach Palma yesterday was saying that Spain hit 17 threes. That's unlikely for most teams. Well, his team comes out and knocks down 8.
Yeah. In the half, and well, on pace for that, but work to be done here. I think if you're Tunisia going into the half, you would say that that's a decent half. Let's keep going. That Iran on the other end have some things to do if they're going to turn this around. Remember, defeat here all but mathematically puts them out of this competition.
Yeah, both teams will sit back there and regroup, but Tunisia is going to be saying, well, no, let's not settle. We shot the ball real well. Now we're going to have to score other ways. Let's get back to who we are. Maybe we're going to have to score inside a little bit. We've got them where we want them. We've got Haddadi coming out of the paint. We've done a good job. Now let's attack that. Iran on the other end, they got to go back to what works for them. And they've got 2 real good scorers on the court all the time, and Haddadi inside. But Yakachali is the guy that you got to get open. And they've got to find a way either with screening him away from the basketball or put it inside so that you can get it to him on the outside.
Well, we're at the break here in Guangzhou. It's Tunisia 44, Iran 35. We'll be back in about 12 minutes' time.
18 in the game for Mbai. Oh, Gobert going to the heavens to shut down Germany.
Over Lopez, can't get it to go. Smart pulls it down. Mitchell crossing over. Mitchell! They're on their feet here in Shanghai. Look out on the runway! Rui Hachimura pounds it home and screams in the face of Ilya Silva. Korkmaz inside, Ilya Silva back on the floor now after a short rest. Pulls up. Oh! First head Korkmaz. Where did he come from with the hammer?
There's Giannis now getting the steal, goes behind the back, going all the way through, up and in, and throws it down. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That really is the trademark move, the power through, just a pure upper body strength, and then gives a little bit of a flex to the crowd.
My parents gave me away, so I had no purpose in this life. Yeah. When you educate a woman, you educate a nation. It's a quote from Nelson Mandela, by the way.
辽基金是由辽宁于2008年发起，本着以体育为宗旨，致力于助学兴教、促进青少年健康成长的公益组织。作为2019国际来年世界杯官方公益合作伙伴，辽基金发起“圆梦之旅”项目，让乡村孩子共享顶级篮球盛会的喜悦。
Welcome back to Guangzhou. Ahmed Haddadi there in the center of the Iranian huddle, giving a pep talk to his team, and boy do they need it, because they are 20 minutes from effective elimination from this FIBA Basketball World Cup. Maybe not elimination, because there is qualification games happening in the next week, but their plan was to come here to get to the second stage by finishing in the top 2, and defeat here will leave them virtually unable to do it. There is a mathematical possibility. It involves Spain losing twice, then beating Puerto Rico, and all the points difference going their way, but they won't see that as a possibility. They will know that they have to turn around this 9-point deficit. Coach Joe Rasso sat alongside me. Joe, put you in that Iranian huddle, in that Iranian locker room at halftime. What are you doing to turn this around?
It's the one time right now that you can tell your guys failure is fatal, and we can't fail. So we won the second quarter. That's a little bit to build up. We can't turn the basketball over. We can't be our own worst enemy. We just got to stay with our game plan, and we got to do a better job of defending their big, shooting the three. And at the same time, maybe we go back to our scouting report thinking, I don't know if their bigs can knock down 6 threes again.
Well, yeah, that was certainly the story of the first half. 6 of 17 from the three-point line for Tunisia. But as you rightly point out, 4 of them came from their center, Salah Meshri. Here we go then, second half action. Tunisia with the ball and the lead, eyeing a step closer towards the second round. And Iran trying to hang on in there.
I think for the first play of the half, you'd want the ball to move a little bit rather than just a straight attack at Haddadi.
Well, they get a second go at it. And, well, it didn't move anymore, but there you go. I think he lost that out himself, Machieki, and it'll be an end-line ball to Tunisia. So neither team covering themselves in glory in the opening offenses.
Iran's picked up a little tighter, trying to get Tunisia to start their offense a little further away.
And Rondon never quite had total control of that ball. Ends up turning it over. Haddadi. Ball on the floor. Tunisia come away with it with numbers, and nobody will catch a Bader, and the lead is into double figures.
That turnover caused them. The first one, the ball just went out of bounds, but that one there's direct transition because of it.
Well, 20. They ties the biggest lead of the game at 11. Garamipour is fouled there. Oh no, he's not. It's on him.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He was looking for the ball to go up a little bit higher, but I thought he felt that he had a direct attack the basket. There's that turnover and the run out. See the pressure a little tighter by Iran. The full court here, putting a little pressure on the basketball to get Tunisia to start their offense a little bit later and a little bit higher.
Brook back to Abeda. Around the screen, pulls up for three. Front rims. Jamshidi with the rebound. Haddadi looking to back down. Dumps it off to Garamipour, who lays it in. A bit more like what we saw in the early minutes of the first half.
Yeah, and Garamipour's a physical, big, strong guy. And he just took it to Majeri right to his body and just, you know, demanded him to try to block it.
Roll, fires up the triple halfway down and back out again. Haddadi's able to get his mitts on it, throws it long to Jamshidi. Jamshidi under pressure, and he was always chasing it. They probably would have been better to cycle back out with that one.
Looking for the foul on the attack there.
Benronda, nice dancing to the hole, but unable to convert.
Both teams are playing with fire here, not moving the basketball and just playing ISO one-on-one on the catch.
Haddadi backing down, trying to go strong, trying to find room through. And there's Garamipour. What happened there? Haddadi wasn't happy in the original instance. And is there a foul called? Yes, there is on Haddadi. This is, it's actually after the play here. Wow.
He might be stronger than he looks.
He might be.
So a counter for Tunisia against some of this pressure by Iran is to use Benrahmdam to bring the ball up or roll.
Mejri again, knocks down another one, his fifth of the game. Haddadi getting it well towards Rostanpour, but it's stolen away, and chasing back is Mashieki for the foul.
You felt that three really hurt Iran, not just for the three, but you got a sense the guys were just, oh man, not again.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the shot. You wonder whether they thought, well, he airballed his last one at the end of the first half, so maybe he just got lucky early on. And then he, as you say, it slightly deflates the opposing team when you see that going at the start of the second half as well.
And we have to understand mentally, for Haddadi, he doesn't want to go out that far, and he's not used to it. There's almost like an anchor on him. Should I, shouldn't I? I'll fake it, I'll bluff it. But then when he gets caught not coming out, Jerry's done some great job knocking down 5 threes.
Well, they have switched it up at times with Garamipour guarding him, and Haddadi then has to guard Benrahmdam, but as we saw when that happened on the other side of the floor, Benrahmdam he didn't finish, but he was able to get to the basket. Because, of course, he can force you to come out to the three-point line as well, and is quite happy putting the ball on the floor.
And Tunisia with a little bit of ball pressure here, just trying to pick up the tempo a little bit. With Iran with 2 big posts on the floor who don't want to handle the ball in the open court.
He doesn't mind handling the ball down there. Nicole Barami, less than 5 on the shot clock, driving through. And he was waiting for a whistle, but the only whistle that came was one pointing for an out of bounds in favor of Tunisia.
He's got to go in there with a plan, not just the fact trying to get fouled. And you got a 7'3" guy sitting back there ready to block it.
2:21 for those doing the conversion. Here's Abeda. Oh, man, that's a tough shot in the corner from El Mabrouk.
And it's an emotional three. Their best shooter's gotten off, and he's been trying for 2 games.
Well, Iran very much on the ropes here. Their World Cup hopes dangling by a thread right now. Rustampur. Ben Ramdam holding on to Nikhar Barami, and the foul is called. Well, I think the Iranians need to channel some of that Puerto Rican spirit from 2 days ago, where Puerto Rico came from a big deficit against Iran to snatch victory. They've got to find some way of doing it themselves.
I think this is the guy that's got to start giving him something a little bit extra here.
Blocked by Mejri, but it comes straight to Guramipour. He can't convert from close range. Roll wants it in transition. Mejri tips it home.
A great transition play, looking for the early shooter, but the benefit of not just the early shooter is the fact that Salah ran the floor and cleaned up, and he's thinking, okay, you miss it, I got it. And picture perfect, first big run on the floor.
And with a 16-point deficit, Iran call for a timeout. Well, I asked you at halftime what Coach Shahintab might have been trying to say to his team. They're in a bigger hole now than they were 5 minutes ago. They've got to come quickly here.
Yeah, this is an urgency situation, and all day today they haven't played with urgency. And coaches will tell their guys, remind you, you need that urgency. And that urgency just isn't on the offensive end. It's on the defensive end and the loose balls and the couple turnovers we had and dropping balls down. Now, he's been playing big on offense because they're very good at attacking the basket, but their urgency is getting back on defense and out on shooters. The Abida open three was a matter of guys not getting out on the shooter. Salah's three not getting out on the shooter.
Well, Tunisia, in some ways you wonder what, in a group like this, where most people look at it and think Spain number 1, question mark number 2, how it benefits or otherwise, as we look at the numbers of Mejri, playing Spain first versus playing Spain last as these two teams. Obviously, Tunisia played them first, Iran played them last. You sort of get it out of the way if you're Tunisia, but you can't leave it in the bank if you're Iran, because that would be a massive upset. They've got to find some way of doing it now. Jamshidi pushing the back from Haddadi, I think. Is it? No, it's Mejri. Is it?
Be the inside position there, Mejri. He must have grabbed him for it to be the foul.
Yeah, it is. Got to get it in just in time. Nice pass. Jammed in. Guramipour with the flush.
Guramipour with 3 big baskets this quarter has done a real good job for them and playing off Haddadi's ability to pass the ball.
Bit of zone now from Iran. Roll spinning. Gets the shot away. Guramipour with the defensive board. Can they get something in transition? Jamshidi's going to let fly for 3. Mejri with the rebound.
And the one thing about it with Haddadi on the floor and playing lots of minutes, it's hard to run transition because you're running it with 4 and then the 5th trails into it. Well, the zone has got Tunisia thinking.
Almost caused a turnover. Shot clock's down to 3 here. Roll has a glance, sees it, fires up. Front rims. Garamipour's leaked out, trying to challenge that 3. Does the wise thing and waits for some help. Oh, but it's not there for Mashieki.
And that was like momentum play that you wanted.
Yeah.
A good defense into offense. They stay with the zone.
Roll in the corner. And that's one way to try and get them out of the zone, knock down the 3.
Yeah, overload the side with the ball screen.
Haddadi, mid-range. It's more a set shot than a jump shot.
And Tunisia's good with that. If he's going to take 2, it means he's away from the basket. He's not going to get a second chance opportunity. And allows Salah to step in there and just clean it up.
And Ramdan. Haddadi with the rebound. Don't think he got there in time. Yeah, it's a blocking foul on the Tunisian captain.
And that's a good open court foul because he's trying to draw a travel and or he'll take the foul.
It's only his second. 12:21 left in this ball game. Tunisia leading by 17. Looking very good for what would be their first ever World Cup victory.
And they like the fact that they're eating up the clock on the defensive end.
Little fall away. He's played really well in this third quarter.
He played well. I thought he played well yesterday too.
Shanufi. Ben Ramdan. Kickball.
What the zone has done for Iran, it's slowed down the tempo. You got both teams going back to half court, and Iran likes that. Iran will say, okay, if we can play half court both ends, we'll be happy. Tunisia had a few runs on the defensive end, but now with the zone, they're slowing down and probing.
The only issue with that is when you're down 15 and there's less than 12 minutes to play, you know, the clock doesn't stop ticking when you slow the game down.
Get a couple scores off your defense, you're going to be right back in it again. Puerto Rico reminded us of that.
Yeah, true. Into Ben Ramdan. Ramipour made it difficult. Out to Shanufi, wide open for 3. And, well, good work. They were boxing out somewhere in there. But they forgot to go after the ball. And El Mabrouk said, thank you very much.
And it's one of the problems with that zone, especially when guards are coming from the perimeter. Nobody's matched up against them, and El Mabrouk there gave his team another chance. Last time against the zone here, what they did is they looked for a quick overload, and then very late forward, Ben Ramdan would just slide down the middle here.
Well, that won't happen this time because he's sitting down, and Hadidan has come in for him.
And he's called the same play.
Gets it up at the top of the key. Good ball movement. Abeda. Cross court. Shanufi on the shot clock buzzer. And a third chance opportunity. Actually putting it on the floor this time. And the little man trying to go underneath him to steal that away. And so did Mashieki call for the foul.
Coach Shahintab is sitting there thinking, we're doing a good job in the zone, but we're just not finishing the possession. And the possession doesn't finish until you get the rebound. And 3 times now, Tunisia's had an opportunity to tip it out and give themselves a third chance on one possession.
Well, you give a team enough goes at it, they usually get points on the board, although the first free throw comes off the back of the iron.
He just needs to step back a few
yeah.
meters.
Second one is good. Little bit of a gamble there on the attempted steal from Brook and committing the foul.
And a good attempt because he was shooting the gap on it, knowing that his team only had 3 fouls. It's a good gamble.
Haddadi trying to get free, does so. Going to the spin move, going up strong, good challenge. Oh, and another big block. Oh, in the end out of bounds, but good work.
Yeah, there was a lot of 3 big guys in there doing work.
Got a little piece on that one. Got a big piece of that one.
Jerry's long had a pretty good quick jumper, getting back up on that one.
Nice pass, and one. Great tip pass from Haddadi.
We said earlier he's a very good passer. And he read that baseline out of bounds play just by where the defense was. He knew that his first option was wide open.
Benham and Charlie at the free throw line looking to convert the AND1 opportunity, and doing so.
Always good to get your best shooter an easy basket like that and a little bit of success. Because if they want to get back in this game quickly, he can do it for them.
Well, they need to find some way of getting back into the game because time is ticking. And Mabruk, Haddadi knocks it loose, but he can't get there ahead of Abedu. He's got to heave one up here, gets it off on the shot clock buzzer, keeps it alive, but Iran with the defensive rebound. There's just over an offense left in this third quarter. Haddadi backing down again. Dumps it off to Garabi. Paul throws it down two-handed.
Said every dribble he was looking to attack, but then looking where the defense was coming. And then once he drew 2 people his way, then he had the easy kick out.
Well, that got them on their feet here in the Guangzhou Gymnasium. 1 shot left in this third period. It was 11 at halftime. It's 11 now. Abeda driving under pressure, and Salah cannot convert. While Tunisia still hold the advantage here. In fact, it was 9 at halftime. It's 11 now, so they've stretched it just slightly. But a double-figure lead for Tunisia to take in. Iran need more of this. Huge dunk. If they're going to somehow keep themselves alive in terms of progression to the next round.
Coach Shaitab saying, yeah, we're down 11, but we've got some momentum built. We built some momentum up with 2 real good stops down here, 2 offensive scores down the other end. So they're looking at it as a positive flow. Now we're playing. Now we're playing with the urgency we talked about. The zone's doing a real good job for us. Let's rebound if we can, do a better job of that. And let's not give them multiple possessions, because they're not moving the ball around. They're probing. They're taking, and Tunisia's taking a couple bad shots of late.
Well, it's one of those weird games where the shooting percentages would lead you to believe that the scoreline was the other way round, because Iran shooting the ball much better than Tunisia. They're level on rebounds. And there's only 4 turnovers between them. It's one of those weird games you sort of go, well, how are they ahead? And the reason they're ahead is because they've got 11 three-pointers to 3, and that's just the difference. The shots that they've made have been worth more.
Yeah, and their turnovers have been timely.
Yeah,
they've got more points off the turnovers. Those 4 turnovers may have resulted in 8-9 points.
Points from turnovers is 12-5 right now, so that's a +7 in favor of Tunisia.
And right now you've got a fourth quarter where you've got 2 big guys, and you're thinking, can they last the whole quarter? Like, get them in now, but now it's a matter of how long they last.
There's the FIBA Secretary General in the building watching on. Well, Iran were victims of a fourth quarter comeback. This man with a big double-double already, Salamajiri with 20 and 11. But they now need to be the aggressors here, Iran. They need to turn it around. 11 points to find in this fourth quarter. Haddadi going straight to work. And that's going to be 2 shots.
And we said that earlier in the game. Majeri's going to have a tough time with Haddadi straight up. But now Tunisia also is, they're not just, we're playing defense off the ball with 4. They're playing Yakashali so tight that his man's not getting involved on the defensive end. So the rotation now is different because you're rotating with 3 guys if you're going to give some help.
Well, fourth quarter, down double figures. Every free throw has to go in, really. You've got to take every point you can get. An early substitution from Tunisia, Roland Ben Rondam, straight into the game. 15 seconds, literally 1 play.
Yeah, but he needs offense against the zone attack if they do still play zone. But now he brought one of 2 of his better offensive players back in the game.
Ben Rondam to El Mabrouk, just bobbled it slightly. 5 on the shot clock. El Mabrouk fires over Haddadi. Long rebound comes out into the hands of Mashiehi. Lazy one there from Roll.
Zone attack is like zone attack and full court pressure. Zone attack is like attacking the press. You just can't settle with stuff. You've got to attack this zone. You've got to attack it. And right now, Tunisia is just playing too late in the clock and losing a little bit of that savvy.
The other thing is that's 2 fouls in 2 possessions. Less than a minute gone. When the other team is chasing the game, you don't want to get to that bonus too early and be sending them to the free throw line with the clock not moving. That's always the best way to force a comeback, score while the clock isn't ticking. Charlie from the elbow, and the gap is down to 7.
Much needed basket for him, getting him in the game a little bit.
Well, that was close to legal as Abeda overcooks that one. Ben Rondam with the rebound. But Haddadi's making the case about the pass as to whether it was legal, but you can see Ramipour's got his arm over the top. It's a great angle that to see the foul. Roll into the mid-range, and he's just going to make those. You can't give him that shot.
And all you do is just a little reversal ball pressure, so that now he had somebody closing out on him, and he gets to that gap.
Almost a turnover. Hell ball, it will be a turnover because the arrow pointing the way of Tunisia.
Yeah, Hossein Zeta would have loved to have that one back there. He went in there, just too much of a gamble, too much of a risk. So Iran here, looks like they're playing man. They may play man in the full court here, but when they go back in that half court, they may fall back into that zone.
Well, Haddadi is certainly barking instructions to his teammates. Actually, from a little closer in, Ramipour with the rebound. Hossein Zeta's picked it up in an awkward spot, needs a bit of help. Down to Haddadi it goes again, to little Nowitzki. Fall away, beautiful shot.
just inching their way back, little by little, doing a good job here. But Tunisia's tempo is so slow. This zone has done a real good job of what Iran wanted it to do.
Haddadi closing in on a triple-double as Roll drives through the lane. Haddadi with 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Both big men can pass the ball.
Here's Haddadi again. Into Garamipour, back out. It's on Zeta. Haddadi fakes the 3, moves it across. Not quite. Garamipour can't quite get a big pour on that because Mejri's in the way to rip it down. Abeda fakes the 3. Roll will take it. Haddadi with rebound number 9.
I don't like this tentativeness on the offensive end by Tunisia. I think you're messing with the clock because Abeda there can make the same play. He doesn't have to take the shot, but he just stopped it and set it up and allowed the zone to build itself up. You want to attack that zone in transition when you can. If not, keep it moving.
A little full court pressure here from Tunisia to make it difficult on the inbound as much as anything else. Ashieki. Oh, ball slipped through his hands. It comes back out. Still 9 on the shot clock. Yeah, Charlie driving through the lane is fouled before the block.
Good attack, good play. It's amazing that Iran's doing a good job on this, cutting this lead without Benrahma on the court. Or sorry, without Barami on the floor. And you talked about it earlier. Now they're in the penalty.
Yep. It's a good way back into the game, boy, the free throw line. 7. They've got to 7 a couple of times, but they haven't managed to get closer. They might get a chance here as Haddadi grabs down yet another rebound. That's a double-double for him. He's 2 assists away from a triple-double. He's going to think about the 3, put it on the floor instead. Loses his man, tips it home. And it's down to 5 with less than 6 to play. And Tunisia are going to call a timeout. I think Mejri might have got a flop warning in all of that. Here's Haddadi putting it on the floor, sending the big fella down, stepping into the finger roll, and then just tipping it home.
Yeah, he's not worried about field goal percentage. That's another rebound.
Wow, can they do it? They were victims of a massive comeback 2 days ago here. Can they create one of their own?
The impressive part is they've been doing it on the defensive end. They've cleaned up the rebounds, they've cleaned up the opportunities, the one chance, and they're doing a real nice job of just slowly getting their way back into this. And now the fact that they're in the penalty and they've only committed 1 foul makes this game even closer.
Well, they're scoring by quarter. You can see 10-4 the start to this period. And it's gone through this guy, to be fair, as you would expect it would at this stage of a must-win game. They're going to their most experienced player, the guy who's been there and done that all over the world. Can he drag his team one more time?
Coach Palm on the other end is saying to his guys, we got to get back to where we were. We got to get a little bit hungrier than we've been, and we got to attack this. We have to attack the zone, not play against it. But we got to find a way to attack it and create not just threes, but easy dump offs to Salah.
Confirmation of Haddadi's double-double, but as I say, 2 more assists, and he's on a triple-double. Well, the Iranian fans have got louder and louder as the game has gone on. Starting to believe their team might be able to pull off the comeback. Elmer Brook trying to put an end to it. Roll. Back to Elmer Brook. And that was one of them where the defense was scrambling a little bit and two guys had a half chance, and it's probably not a bad foul that from Mashieki, just to allow them to reset.
No, good foul, good defense still. And that was against Tunisia's best shooter.
Elmer Brook sets his feet, fires the three, big shot! More at Elmer Brook, when his team needed a score, comes up with it.
It's funny when you score how the defense just intensity picks up.
Yep. Dorami Paul putting it on the floor, Ben Rondam stealing it away. Abeda chasing it down court to the reverse lay-in. And out of the timeout, 5 in a row, has Tunisia back up 10.
That looked like a Ricky Rubio reverse layup. Actually, that layup was great because he used the rim to defend the shot blocker.
Well, roll with the reach round, and as we've already said, that's going to be 2 free throws.
And the clock stops, and Haddadi's happy that it does. It gives him a little bit of a rest because they're not going to sub him out this fourth quarter. So all these stops are good for him.
Well, I said it in the first minute of this period. Down 10, game running out. Got to make your free throws. He makes 1.
Iran's tough for Iran to set any type of full court pressure because of Haddadi.
Beda, roll, out to the corner for 3, rims out, but there's a hold on Ben Rondam. He was trying to allow his teammate to get the rebound.
That's a veteran hold. The problem is it's 2 shots because it's a rebound.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you've only got 1 foul against the team or 1 foul against you, it might not be a bad one to give up, but as the team is over the limit, it gives them 2 free throws without time ticking, and it's his 4th personal foul.
And he's really important, particularly against the zone, because he's their best high post player in the zone and allows you to keep solid down low. He's a good decision maker.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if it slipped out of his hands or what, but that was a long way short from Shamshidi.
Who's a 90% free throw shooter during the season.
He looked at his hands like it came out a bit weird. Well, it's 8 still. They had at least an 8-point lead with this time to go 2 days ago, and they got beat. Can they turn the tide here, turn the tables? Tunisia have looked good value for this lead all the way through. To be fair, they've led for most of the game. Big shot again in the corner, and he's hit it again! Maroud Al-Mabrouk.
If you're going to run zone offense, you're going to put your shooters in a spot that he's going to get it. They move the basketball, they reverse back to him. That's 2 open threes he's hit in the fourth quarter.
Oh, no, that's a clean block, is it?
He chases from behind so well. You think you've got by him, and they look for the little teardrop, and it just kept going up.
Oh, it's right at the top, but he has batted it away. Haddadi for 3. And Measure saying, slow it down, fellas. Let's run some clock.
That may be the first time I've seen a teardrop layup like that get blocked at that height.
Foul on Haddadi.
Anytime you can get Haddadi to move away from the center of the key, you're running good offense.
They're in a right grappling battle at the top. Garamipour is going to sit down. Rostampour is going to come in. Oh no, Haddadi is going to come in. That was his 4th personal foul. 3:11 to go. Might be tempted to risk it.
This will allow Iran to be a little bit more aggressive now on the defensive end.
Well, they need to be. Oh, long way out, Mabrook. Oh, not quite. It's close. Well, they need something in lightning quick order here, Iran. Jamshidi calls for the screen, goes the opposite way. Driving under pressure, little short. Mejri with the rebound, and once again he says to Roll, let's take our time.
What a great defensive series there for Tunisia. Running them down in 20 seconds and then getting the rebound.
Well, coming into, oh, Roll all the way to the finger roll. Timeout is called. Coming in today, Iran had never won a FIBA World Cup game. They'd never even scored 65 points, more than 65 points in a FIBA World Cup game. Well, they got 73 on the board, and they look like they're 221 away from a first ever victory, and what a victory it would be. And it would set up what looks like it's going to be a winner takes all in 2 days' time.
The Tunisian fans are excited. Big moment for their federation, for their country. Tunisia got game.
Tunisia has got game. But they've got to see it through here. And this is looking at the points in the paint. You can see Iran have done that. They've closed up on the points off turnovers, but they haven't closed up on the scoreboard where it matters the most.
And Coach Shaitab now has got to decide, is he going to play a little offense and defense? They can't put pressure on when Haddadi's on the floor, but they need Haddadi on the floor on the offensive end. So look for substitutions whenever he can get them on defense and offense.
Well, Haddadi is not coming back out, and he's at the other end of the bench, so it doesn't look like they're doing that at the moment.
That just surprises me because he is such a big part of their offense. I understand that he takes away a little bit defensively when you have to go full court.
Well, it's basically score every possession here for Iran. They can't come up with empty offenses. Mashieki, and they do. Mejri with yet another rebound. He's 15th of the game, 20 and 15. And really, it was his three-point shooting early on that set Tunisia out to the big lead, and they've defended it ever since. They've never really looked under massive threat. Iran got it back down in the fourth quarter. Here he is to jam it down right on the 24-second buzzer. Mejri from Roll. And Tunisia are on the brink of their first ever win at the World Cup.
And Roll saw that 13 seconds ago.
Ramipur with the backdoor pass. Mashieki. Again, they can't take too long. This offense is too long, even if they do score. And they don't score. And they do get an offensive rebound.
There's too much pounding by Iran. They need to keep the ball constantly moving to get themselves open shots.
Well, Mazafari with the three-pointer. They're still down 12, though, with a minute to go. Rundam! Well, they're gambling Iran, and Tunisia making them pay.
Yeah, and it's a gamble without a plan. The back and the front end rotates. People are trapping. It's random. And so The other guys in the back end aren't rotating, and Tunisia did a nice job of attacking that, getting the ball to the high post and attacking the baseline cutter.
Well, there was a horn blown, but it doesn't look like anybody made a substitution. Anyway, we're back underway. We're less than a minute away from a little moment of history. Garamipo, two-handed throwdown. And we will have a substitution this time. Hadidan will come in. Salamejri will sit down. What a performance from this man. 22 points and 15 rebounds. Well, I'm not sure what they do with who picks the TCL player of the game, but he's certainly going to be right up the top of the list, I should imagine.
And 5 memorable threes.
Oh, Iran cut it to 10, but there's not enough time. They're pressuring and gambling, but it's too late, unfortunately for them. And barring a miracle, they are not going to qualify from Group C. But Tunisia might. In all likelihood, we're going to have a winner-takes-all tomorrow between Puerto Rico and Tunisia. Sorry, in 2 days' time. Shot clock is switched off. Tunisia can just run this down if Iran will let them. They're still chasing it round. There's no point in fouling now with 10 seconds to go. Roll breaks away. Roll will go all the way. Ben Rondam will tip it home, the Tunisian captain. And there'll be one last heave, but for the first time in their history, Tunisia have won a game at the FIBA Basketball World Cup, and they've given themselves a chance at getting through to the next stage. They've led almost from start to finish, led by that man and his 20 points and 15 rebounds. It's finished here in Guangzhou, Tunisia, 79, Iran 67. Tremendous performance from Salamejri. 22 points, 15 rebounds, 5 of 9 from the three-point line. He had 5 blocks as well, doing it at both ends of the floor. And a historic moment for basketball in Tunisia.
Big man played in a big game. He was outstanding, and he just changed the whole complexion of their offense when he knocked down those threes. And his defensive blocks, they were all like, every one of them were situations where Iran thought they had an open layup. He makes your defense better.
He does. Smiles all around. They've been celebrating in that huddle, and well they might. They've played 6 games at the FIBA Basketball World Cup, 5 of them in 2010, 1 of them this week, and they'd lost all 6. But today, they've finally got one at the 7th attempt in that W column. And they go over to celebrate with those waving the Turkish flags and the Tunisian flags even, and well they might. A great performance, and I'm sure they'll enjoy this one for a little bit, but then they'll be immediately on to the next game against Puerto Rico, knowing the coach.
And really important for them, as well as Majeri played. Mike Roll and Elma Brook got back on track, being the players that they are, and now this team's dangerous tomorrow. They've got a little bit of confidence. The momentum's going their way. They feel good. They thought they could qualify from when we saw them at the first press conference. Now they've got a little bit of juice to go with it.
Wow, tremendous performance as we look back at some of the highlights. And really, Iran, you felt like they were in the game for the first 5 minutes. And then when Mejri started hitting those threes early on, it pulled Tunisia away, and Iran never quite recovered in the game.
And then Iran had the chance. That zone was really slow, and it was a 5-point game. And it was a timeout, and it was a great possession where Elma Brook hit that 3 from the wing there.
Yeah, They executed the last 5 minutes exactly how a team with the lead should, and that's what cost Iran the other day. They couldn't do that, but they saw Tunisia do it, and as you say, El Mabrouk, big three-point shots when his team needed them, and saw them over the line.
Yeah, it's funny. One day you get killed by the three-point shot. The next day, you know, you're using it to the greatest advantage that you've had in your history of your organization.
13 of 34 from behind the arc, 38% shooting, 13 made threes. That's a good way to win games. If you can get somewhere around 40% shooting and you can make double figures, you're usually going to be there or thereabouts winning a game.
And you do it from all the positions on the floor. That keeps your offense wide and the defense tough. Now the defense is challenged. And tomorrow when they get ready, in 2 days when they get ready for Puerto Rico, are you playing a guy who's not a three-point shooter or a guy who's 5 of 8?
Well, they had 5 different guys make a three-point shot. 7 different guys took a three-point shot. So it just shows you how many positions you're going to have to defend. Well, disappointment for him and his team. As I say, mathematically they're not out yet, but they might be in 4 hours' time. If Spain are victorious, then Iran will have no mathematical chance of getting through to the second stage. As it is, it's a very slim one, even if Puerto Rico did pull off the upset. But these guys, smiling and celebrating, have a very real shot of getting through to the second stage of the competition. Here's how it stands now midway through. Obviously, Puerto Rico and Spain, that's just over 2 hours away from starting here. Tunisia now top of the group. The winner of Spain, Puerto Rico will go back on top, whoever that is, come the end of the play. So Tunisia will be second or third, depending on who wins that game at the end of today. But Tunisia and Puerto Rico play the last game tomorrow in 2 days' time, looking for qualifications. Great day for Tunisia. History made.